Welcome to another Saturday night and taking it to the nub. I'm your host, Boston Jimmie, and tonight I'm going to introduce you to a brother of the leaf, Kevin King from Conscious Cigars. And when you meet Kevin, Kevin's got a fun story, how his brand came to be. He's one of a number of co-owners of the brand. Um, but before we do that, as usual, let us get some sponsorship in so that we can roll with the show. And today's show is brought to you by Casa Cuevas Cigars. In the 19th century, Juan Cuevas, Spanish immigrant from Santander, began what was to be a family business which now spans 4 generations. Like others fortunate enough to live and work in Pinar del Rio province of Cuba, Juan commenced cultivating tobacco, turning it into a successful business. Following in his father's footsteps, his son Juan Jr. continued with the family business, successfully expanding it until events which took place in 1959 forced a dramatic change. Years later, in the Ciabo Valley of the Dominican Republic, Luis Cuevas Sr., Juan Jr.'s son, carried on the family tradition of handcrafting fine cigars in the family's cigar factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas. Today, Luis Sr. is joined by his son Luis Jr. in the manufacturing and sale of premium long filler cigars at their factory, Tabacalera Las Lavas in Santiago, Dominican Republic. So check out Casa Cuevas Cigars at www.casacuevascigars.com and on their Instagram and Facebook channels. All right. Let's bring Kevin in. Kevin King Brown, how are you tonight?
Doing well, sir. How about you?
Outstanding. I am drinking a raspberry iced tea and smoking your Conscious Toro.
Nice. So I'm on the Toro as well. I have a hot tea.
We didn't plan this. It
Did
just
not,
happens to be what we're in the mood for, I guess.
a lot of people always pairing coffee, man, but try some tea. It
You know,
works.
I was at an event. It was a women's event years ago. Um, at a women's cigar smoking meeting I was covering, and when I was talking to them, one of the things that they discussed was just that pairing with tea, and they were doing a tea pairing that night. And yeah, it's pretty spectacular because the tannins in the tea, that dryness brings out
Mhm.
flavors in the cigar. And then you get into some fun teas like, matcha teas and stuff. And that just adds a whole nother dimension to
Another
the
element.
cigars. So what kind of tea you drinking?
This is a raspberry and I mispronounced this word. ACBI, like
ACBI, Acme?
yeah,
Acme?
something like that. I think it is.
Is that like the blueberry? That's the
Yes,
blueberry, right?
yes, yes,
That's
yes,
a lot of antioxidants in that.
yes. With the raspberry, I got some ginger in it.
Oh,
It's
wow.
a it's a guy here in Tampa by the name of Rush. He has a foundation called Land on Your Feet. But this guy he makes ginger every year around this time for Christmas time, this time December. He soaks it in like brandy for like months, and then he gives me the ginger chips, and I put that in my tea, and it's just just make a concoction, and I love it.
Wow. Sounds
Every
like
day.
it goes well, could go very well with a cigar. The
Yes.
ginger is unique. It's a palate cleanser by
Hmm.
itself, right?
It's
So
wonderful.
very, yeah. So Conscious Cigars. Now you and I, we've known each other now for what, 4 or 5 years? It's
Hmm.
been a while. It's been quite a while. I've seen you at various events.
Hmm.
You're always rocking and rolling what you're doing. You're not the only owner. There are numerous owners of your brand, and if I remember correctly, when you talk to me, there's like, um, I guess it's the M&Ms, right? The
No,
Marauders.
no, no. So that was my cigar lounge.
That was your lounge.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I used to own a lounge here in Tampa, me and my partners, and it was a few of us. The Conscious Cigar is my solo thing. Yeah, it's just
That
me.
was your solo. So
Yes. Uh-huh.
your solo on that.
Hmm.
Um, and you connected. And oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm on a Conscious Cigar show wearing a Karen Berger hat, we're going to let Kevin explain the relationship with Karen Berger and how did that relationship come about and how has it developed over the years? Because I love Karen Berger.
Hmm. It's a great connection. I like how you did that. I saw it earlier. I saw it. So so when I had my lounge, I've shut down now. We shut down last January, by the way. Had a 6 year run with my partners. It was pretty good. But anyway, um, I was 2016 when we started the lounge. So 2018, 2017, I started to look, try to find who I can get a cigar with. I have family in Daytona, and it was a guy here that told me about Don Kiki Lounge. And I had been there, my first time there probably was, I don't know, 2015, 2014, something like that. So I kind of was going there, and I kind of knew some of the people that worked there. I didn't really know Karen. I used to see her, but didn't know her. So fast forward to 2017, 2018ish. I now have a relationship with Ben, her ex, her vice president, excuse me, at the time. So me and Ben had kind of been chatting along every time I come to Daytona and hang out. So I asked him, I was like, "Wait, what does it take to, get your own cigar? What would I need to do?" So they broke it down. And I was like, "Okay, cool." So that's how that came about. Strictly, excuse me, this tea got me yapping. Excuse me. So Ben kind of set it up for me at a time, and we just went through the process. I was able to meet Karen. My first time in Nicaragua was January of 2018. Um, we got in the factory. They pretty much let me, do whatever I want to do with the factory, producing my own stuff. No handcuffs at all. It's very wonderful, and it's pretty much been the same since. Uh, she still trusts me to, to do what I do in the factory. Even got a little more trust. I drive her car around Nicaragua now. I didn't do that in 2018. But in 22, yeah, I can drive in Nicaragua now.
Wow.
It's been wonderful, man. She's been very, very instrumental with this cigar business. I needed it.
So having owned the shop for 6 years now, how deep in the cigar culture were you prior to owning the shop?
Uh, Man, I was smoking. My partners and I, a lot of us in Tampa back in those days, from like 2000, I guess 8, 9 on up. A lot of us used to go to a place here by the name of the Cigar Castle. The owner's name is O'Toole. We would all meet there for years. That is where I learned about tobacco per se from some of the guys that worked there at the time. A guy named Ira, a guy named Tracy. These guys they worked at Humidor. So when I would walk in my early days, they would ask me, what do you like to drink? You know what I mean? And I was like, I tell them, I'm wondering why. I tell them this, okay, you should probably, you may want to try to pair it with this. So they were teaching me how to pair without me even knowing that I was learning. So and over the years, me and all the guys, and there's some ladies in there as well, not just guys, but some women too. Over time, we would buy like Cuban cigars together, or go out and buy different type of bourbons or whiskeys, and we would just sit, drink, talk, pair, what you taste, what I taste, what you think you might go with, and that was just us just kicking it, and that kind of really, that's how I kind of learned, to be honest.
So were you making, did you make mental notes? Did you actually write anything down as to your understanding of what specific leaves, what flavors they may impart on your palate?
Not in the early days, no. When we was in there, like I said, we were just kicking it. It was just learning on the fly. I didn't write anything down, but I really will remember. It is easy to. I think for me, it was easier to remember. Like if you were there, I would know what you like, and then I could. Once I knew that, I can say, okay, won't you try this with that? And if you said you liked it, I feel like I was doing it right. And we would do that amongst each other for a lot, just all the time. So that's how I kind of
Well,
picked up on it.
so I like an what I would call an elegant cigar,
Hmm.
one that has a really nice pristine burn on it, um, not too tight, not too loose, imparting flavors of some sweetness, some creaminess, a little bit of spicy or pepperiness, not over the top, and not in my face strength. I'm your customer. What do you walk in the humidor and hit me with?
And first thing I would ask you, once you know all that, I would say what particular region, what do you, if you knew this, I know you know, but if particular, since you know, I would say, what kind of region, what kind of tobacco you like? Nicaraguan, Dominican, Honduran.
I'm gonna be more on the Nicaraguan side these days, but I do like certain Dominican blends that don't overdo the Dominican tobacco, if you get my point,
I
because
do, I
Dominican
do.
tobacco can impart certain bitterness
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
gets to a point where it's harsh on the palate if not
Hmm.
handled correctly.
I agree. So in that case, what I smoked I just smoked something recently that, what was that? I was at my guy Corey Cheney Cigar Lounge. I would probably, when I'm thinking in my head right now, Ocho Cinco has a cigar. Uh, I don't know the name of the cigar, but it's his. I think it's his Black Band. That would seem like what you want. It has slight bitterness, but not over bitter. It's too much bitter for me, but you say you
Right.
like a little bit, so I would send you
Well,
there.
I'm not big on the bitter. Bitter has to be. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine before the show. We were just talking about flavor notes that come out, and when I think of bitter, there are different types of bitter, right? There's bitter chocolate, dark chocolate. If you're picking up dark chocolate notes, you're probably
Really
your
rich,
mind is your mind is registering like 80% dark chocolate bars that you get at the
really,
store,
really rich. Hmm.
and it's a good bitter, right? Uh, citrus peel, right? It's got that bitter note. And then there's the bitter that just
From
attacks the
from
palate
the earth, from the earth.
and it hurts you and it's
Yeah.
painful. And if it lasts more than a couple of puffs, it becomes disturbing and
Hmm.
offsets the palate. And if there's nothing there to balance that out,
It's
a
rough.
sweetness or a creaminess
It's
to
rough.
help help that, it just becomes a non-starter.
There's also a guy that fits that profile down your way. Family by Loyalty. He
Family
has
X loyalty, yeah, yeah.
that cigar would fit your palate, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like his craft.
Hmm.
So now, when you take this knowledge that you have, so you're on the you do this thing, you're hanging around, you have a lounge now, which for 6 years you had, you kind of
Hmm.
folded that, you went into this lone venture of creating conscious cigars.
Hmm.
Um, why the name conscious with a K? Does the K have a significance to your name? Does the K conscious mean something to you? What is the
Yeah,
significance of
absolutely.
conscious?
Everything you just said. Absolutely. Yeah. So I grew up, I mean, I was a part of the what we call the conscious community. This is a community that supports, your own like Black businesses. Of course, we support everybody, but we harp on having our own business, right? To build our community up since we're behind, right? And that's where that conscious comes from. And I flipped that with the cigars, man. Like my community is the boutique community. I mean cigars, but I love the boutiques. Um, we need to be heard and seen for platforms like this, so we appreciate you. Um, yes, the K is from Kevin, of course. That's why I do that. I've always played on the letter C my whole life with with words with K, just because it still can sound the same. I thought I was fascinated as a child, it still sounds the same with a different letter, right?
That's right. That's
So
pretty funny.
that's where the K comes from. But yeah, the conscious it's just it's a double sword on that. So I am a part of the conscious community, but I also believe in like your consciousness, like you are a thinker. So usually when you're smoking, most people when you got some time to yourself and you're smoking, you're really just pretty much thinking about whatever the case might be, whatever you got going on. Your next day project, work, whatever, sports. You're thinking of something, and that's the other part of the consciousness. Hence ignite your consciousness. So whatever you're into when you're smoking a conscious cigar, I hope it enhances whatever you're thinking about and bring value to you that way.
There you go. Now, one of the things I like to do when I smoke cigars, especially new brands that I'm not familiar with,
Mhm.
is I always I call it dating the cigar, right? The ritual of the cut, the pre-draw, the examination, all of those things leading up to that journey I'm about to go on, like you said, for like an hour and a half or so, or an hour and 40 minutes, whether I'm in solitude or with people. But one of the things in the pre-light that I'll do with new cigars is I love examining the band. I love to see what kind of story is in the artwork. Okay, there are some people that just have XYZ brand, that's what it is. Boom, and there's not a lot of story in the band art itself. Your brand has, besides conscious cigars, you can see it in the logos behind you, the significance of the um the Indian culture. Are you paying tribute to the Taino Indians with that? In the leaves hanging off the end
Correct.
of the lit cigar?
Correct. It's to the tobacco community, which enhance is the Indians who bought the tobacco. But yes, that's me. The three tobacco leaves you see, and also they have different colors. Because
Yeah, I was
tobacco
gonna
changes
say,
colors.
what's the
Mhm.
significant? So those are
It's but
so
to,
yeah, talk.
it symbolizes tobacco. Some people think it's feathers, but it's not feathers. It's actually
Yeah,
tobacco leaves. And it's just for me to tip my cap to the community, to the tobacco community. And there's other symbolism in here as well. So I like people to really zoom in on if they ever get one, just really look at it and check it out.
yeah, you got the symbolism of the colors that wrap around the outer part of your
Hmm.
band there, and also they blend the colors also wrap around the outside of the conscious.
Hmm.
And that. And I imagine, if I understand that correctly, that there's a black culture that represents those colors,
The mhm.
remind
the
you of
the
things
one
you've
that's
seen.
by the tobacco. Yes, that's red, black, and green, like the flag.
Right.
So that represents the Black culture or Pan Africanism,
Hmm.
as we call it, which is part of my conscious, plight. So we call it Pan Africanism, and those colors are in the flag. So if you ever see a red, and it has to be in that order to salute
Right.
them. Hmm. Hmm. That's correct. That is correct. Most people miss that, Jimmie. Yeah.
Well,
Most people miss that.
when you have an an hour and a half, or at least an hour to get to the band, right? You're
Hmm.
staring at your cigar the whole time. I don't know about
Hmm.
you. I never, I don't put the cigar down, right? I'm constantly looking at it. I'm looking at, by the way, look at the burn on that. Spectacular.
Nice.
I'm looking at this, I look at the burn, I'm looking at the wrapper, I'm feeling it, I'm touching it, I'm tasting it, and I'm looking at the band. And I keep just thinking to myself, okay, what's the story that's being told? And you have good story, and I like that. I like that in your artwork. when you also are you a native of Tampa?
I am. I was born in Tampa. Uh, my family and I, my mother and my father, my brother, we moved. My mother's from North Carolina, a small town called. They pronounce it Wyville, but it's spelled Whiteville. So we stayed up there for a little bit when I was a kid. I think from like 2 to 6 or 2 to 7. Then I moved back to Tampa, and I've been in Tampa ever since.
Okay. All right. So, and you, if I remember talking to you in the past, you also are a UPS driver.
That is correct. 26, going on 27 years next February. Yeah,
27
yeah, yeah.
years.
I
You should
became
be about
old.
ready to retire, man. When can you
I
retire from that? Is
I,
there a
I'm
magic
shooting for
number?
10 more years, man. I'm hoping 10 more years. I'm hoping
Wow.
everything works
27
out.
years you're gonna go for.
Yeah, if I can squeeze it, I will.
Now,
I
when you're
definitely.
delivering those packages, um, do you take note of all of the cigar recipients in your head? Because you know when cigars are coming around to people.
Yeah, so on my route is only really one old guy who orders cigars. But what has happened is I smoke on my route. So a lot of people, a lot of the folks who smoke, they don't really order, but they love to give me cigars, and of course I give them my cigar. Once they find out I have a cigar, they like, holy shit, man, like you have a cigar. So we exchange during my route sometimes, but only one guy would order, and I would notice his stuff like that. I couldn't wait to deliver his stuff to him. He was an older guy, and he comes out chewing it and inside his lip. But I love that he's a real smoker. But yeah, I did notice it when I saw it. Mhm.
You know, that's a funny thing you talk about the real smoker. Um, I started doing something the other day. I was watching a movie. I forget the freak movie it was, and there was a cigar chomping character on the movie, right? So we're like, and he
Yes,
never took the cigar out
yes.
of his mouth, right? He's always puffing on it. And most of us are doing this, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
We're enjoying it, having a drink. So the other night, I sat down and I said, what is the difference of the experience? So I
Hmm.
sat down, I went like this, and resisting to take this out of my mouth.
Hmm.
Now, what you'll find out,
Build those juices up.
yep, but you're also finding out that you tend to blow out the chamber.
Hmm.
I find myself taking in some smoke, a little. It's not a heavy retrohale. There's a little. It reduces the volume of the retrohale, but there's a little bit of that. You got the smoke coming out of the palate and the mouth, but you also. I find myself just blowing through the chamber, and I don't do that enough. But if you blow through the chamber, you got to realize you're bringing smoke through the chamber, and if you let it rest too long, it kind of sits in the chamber. So
Hmm.
you blow a little out, and then the flavor picks up better. I don't know. It's just
What
my
when
experience.
I do it, if I'm on a route, if I'm back to selecting the package, right, and I'm doing that, I've learned to angle it down a little bit so
Hmm.
the smoke doesn't come in my eyeballs because I'm looking for packages. So I kind of keep it low as I'm selecting. So
Okay.
sometimes that smoke can go directly in your eyeball when you just holding it. So you have to, if it's a really smoky cigar, you know what I mean. If it's not a smoky, oily cigar, then it might not happen. But if it's oily and it's floating everywhere, it could go directly in your eyeball and that burns.
Now, you started this brand with just a few Vitolas, if I recall correctly.
Correct.
I think you started with a Land. Did you start with the Lancero?
I did Lancero and Robusto. Correct.
All right. It is Lancero.
Yep.
All right. And you had a Robusto. You came out with this one last year.
Yep. I came
Three
out with three
bottles?
last year. The Toro, which is the same blend as the Lancero and Robusto.
Right.
I just added a Vitola to it. But the new blends last year were the Maduro and the Cameroon.
Right.
Mhm,
And when you were working on a camera now Karen gets some good Cameroon because I've had
mhm,
her Cameroon.
mhm,
So when you were testing that leaf and smoking it, I'm sure you were smoking that down in the factory.
mhm.
What was your impression of that leaf just alone when you smoked that Fumo
So
of the Cameroon?
so the
What hit?
Cameroon, actually, man, we had to get it from AJ.
Oh, okay.
So that's where it comes from. If you want the best Cameroon over there, that's the guy. So specifically with my Cameroon, um, when I got there, I was trying to create some stuff, and I want because let me rewind it back a little bit. My first time I went over there, when I did the first two, I really wanted to do a Cameroon, but at the time I couldn't afford the Cameroon, so we put it on the back burner. Put it on the back burner. So this time I was able to afford it. I said, well, I'm gonna do a Cameroon. So we had to go, like I said, to AJ. So me and my master blender drove over there. And this is one of the most beautifulest things I could tell a person, man. Like I went over there to his farm, his factory, picked out, the Cameroon I wanted. The cool part is we take it back to the factory. We do our first, 6 or 7, we put in the plate, get ready to hold it for the next day. Next morning gets there, I wake up early, I go down to the factory, and I get the very first Cameroon. It's already rolled up. So I'm just trying it out the very first time. And I'm sitting out there in front of Karen's factory by myself, just smoking the Cameroon, just trying to understand it. Because it's the very first one. It's early in the morning. Palate's clean. I had a little coffee to take the toothpaste away. So I'm just trying to get into it. And truck pulls up. A guy gets out of the truck. He walks by, speaks. He goes, "Hello, I'm Abriel." So, "Hello, Abriel, I'm Kevin. Are you looking for Karen? She's in the back, blah, blah, blah." So I continue to smoke. About 2 minutes later, Karen and the guy walks out, and Karen is like, "Hey, Kevin, I want you to meet AJ Fernandez." And I was like, "Oh wow, I didn't realize I didn't know his real name." And so
Abdel
right,
Fernandez.
I said it. I hope I pronounced it right. Um, so I meet the guy, and I don't, I was kind of starstruck. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, because I love his work. I'm a fan of his work. So to meet that guy, man, like while I'm smoking the very camera I just left his factory, the day before, it was wonderful, man. So we took some pictures, all of us. It was real nice, man. It was real nice.
Now that was at his factory or at Karen's
I was
factory?
at Karen's. He came to Karen factory the next morning.
Oh, okay. All right. So have you been to his factory?
Yes, I went to his factory to grab the camera. Me and the master blender. That's who took me there.
Nice place. I've not been of all the places. I've not been to AJ's factory itself. I
It's
hear
it's
it's
huge, bro.
pretty huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Huge. Have you
It's
been
very.
out in his fields?
I didn't go in the field. No, I went directly into the back to get my product I wanted and get back to because I got a small window, so I'm trying to work much as I can. So we grabbed the product, got back to Karen's factory and got to work. I,
How
I
many
have like
how many
6 days.
how many Polones does he have active at one time in that factory?
I can't even tell you, bro.
You must have walked
It's
past a bunch of them.
it's a lot. And it's deep. You know what I mean? It's a lot, bro. I don't even know the number, to be honest with you. All I know is I was just trying to get that tobacco, that Cameroon, and get back to work, man, because it's all about work. Next time, now that if I get over there again, if I have a chance to go, I would try to go and see his farm if it works out that way. But I like to hammer out the work, man, get it out of the way.
Now, when you was that the first time you were in a factory when you were at Karen's factory?
Uh, no, I've been to a factory prior to that. So back in 2017, down your way, there's these two ladies, twins, by the name of Yvette and Yvonne, Trace Linda Cigars
Down in Miami. Yep, I
in
know
Miami.
them.
So in
Good women.
2017, they're my favorite, bro. Those are my ladies, man. They're so cool. They're the best. They put together a tour in Cuba in 2017. Uh, I think they contacted my lounge at the time, and I jumped on board because going to learn about tobacco. So they had this quest to find the perfect tobacco or something with a theme like that. We go to Cuba. I hit up a bunch of factories for the very first time in 2017 in Cuba.
Okay.
So I went to the Partagas, all the big name ones. Then we go to the countryside as well, to the Banales and all that type of stuff. Little smaller farms, and we have they had access to like plenty farm and tobacco over there. So that's when I cut my teeth the very first time in the factory. It was in 2017 in Cuba, not Nicaragua.
Is there anything different between the Cuban factories and like the Nicaraguan factories?
Excuse me. Cuba, I have asked that question before. I'm just trying to think in my head. Cuban in the Cuban factories is, excuse me, it seems to be a lot of women, well, a lot of women rolling. It's guys as well, but it seems to be like more women than guys. In Nicaragua, it's like a nice mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's both, and they're slightly younger. It seems like uh, more older women roll in Cuba. That's the only difference I can think of at the moment.
Do they
Just
still have a lector? Do they still have the lector reading the news to them like they used to?
um, I don't know about that.
Okay.
They usually, nowadays everybody has their own little. Most people in the farms have their headphones in. You know, they have their phones. Everybody has their phone set up now with their headphones, and they're just working while they're listening. So I guess they're getting the news like everybody else through social
The
media.
old those old Cuban factories, the lore was always so good because there was a lector that would read the newspaper
Mm.
to the factory workers over a speaker while they were working.
No, I don't remember seeing that. No,
And
that's
look it up. You'll look
okay.
up the word lector and you'll see what they were doing back in the
Okay,
day.
okay, I definitely will. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
No,
it's a
that's dope.
little historical thing on factories, at least in Cuba.
I
Um,
definitely will look into it. And the only other difference is I would say Cuba's kind of still seems old world. They're not doing that, but a lot of their rolling still seems old world. Where you get to Nicaragua, uh, they have like newer tools, like what you call it, draw machines, like
they got the draw machines,
yeah,
right?
things of that nature. I didn't see that type of stuff in Cuba, but I
They
always see it.
they've got the rolling assistant thing that
Correct,
bunches the
correct,
cigars for
correct,
them
correct,
in
correct. It's still
Nicaragua.
kind of old style.
Now, do they when they're doing the roll? So Cuba's still all doing entubo, right?
They're
The
doing
difference
what? I didn't.
between the bunching of the tobacco
Yes,
leaf,
yes.
all right? We don't see much of that coming out of Nicaragua. There's a few, but normally they normally book it, right?
Yeah, that little leather strap thing, and they.
Right, and they
Mm-hmm,
accordion it, they flip
mm-hmm,
and fold it. Where in Cuba they roll
mm-hmm,
each
mm-hmm,
leaf and then they bunch the leaves
mm-hmm.
together, which creates individual tubes of
Mm-hmm.
leaf
It's
that get
correct.
bunched and supposedly produces a better draw.
Mm-hmm.
I've
It's
I've got
subjective.
mixed.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
subjective.
think it's a little subjective on it over the
Yeah.
years. I think I've had some really fine, normally rolled cigars that we get in the New World versus Cuban, and you know, my experience with Cuban cigars in the most modern era now is they've gone downhill in construction.
I agree. For
Okay.
the most part, I agree. I agree with that. And just for me, man, when I first saw a draw tool, I was like, wow, that is so needed, and it tells you on the spot if there's enough pressure or whatever it is, the
Yep.
flow that it has or not, and you can check it right, when this happens. Put them to the side, take them back, let's redo it or whatever the case might be. I love that. I love that.
And Daniel Neufeld, who is one of my followers here, he's chimed in. He says, in my opinion, they need those draw tools for quality control. It's
Right.
far from what non-Cuban cigars are. Basically, that's
Right.
it's important to have that.
Yeah,
And
I
I'll tell
agree.
you when I smoke sometimes if I smoke a cigar and it's giving um a starts to do a little off burn, if you will,
Hmm.
I'll notice that it may be something that you'll never pick up on a draw machine, possibly, but sometimes there, as things heat up and the tobacco expands,
Hmm.
I won't say it's a crack, but there could be. Sometimes I see a little tiny bit of smoke coming out of somewhere on the wrapper,
Hmm.
about further down from where the burn is,
Hmm.
and that alone just has to, my engineering mind kicks in and goes, that's just fluid flow. It's now you just opened up
Hmm.
an
Another
area for
pocket. Hmm.
a little pocket,
Hmm.
which can cause problems.
It's true.
But I've never had a problem with this.
And if that happens to somebody, just you can rip a little bit of tobacco off from your cigar, or they can put it over the hole and keep it moving. It'll burn right through. Just if that
That's
happens.
it. That's it. Or keep a little vegetable gum on the side of it.
Yeah.
So,
you know,
uh,
the little back part you might spit out your mouth, just slap that back on the hole and
there you go.
you'll be fine.
That's the magic. All right, I'm going to take another commercial break here. This is 4 minutes, so if you need to
Okay.
get something, now's the time to go do it. If you got to hit the bathroom, now's the time to go do it. Or if you just want to watch the cool advertisements, it's always
Watch
good
the
to be here.
advertisement, man. I'm gonna watch the advertisement.
So I'm gonna just spin that up in just a second here. And today's show is brought to you by Bocock Brothers Cigars, a new and active brand founded by two Honduran brothers, Bryant and Douglas Bocock. The brand zeroes in on those folks that are looking for easy to smoke cigars inspired by unusual circumstances. Very importantly named after their very interesting and imitable last name, Bocock. Right now, Bocock Brothers is featuring their signature edition, made at the AJ Fernandez factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. It features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper, a Nicaraguan Habano binder, and a Nicaraguan filler. Available in three popular formats, a Robusto, a Toro, and a Gordo. You can check out Bocock Brothers Cigars at www.bocockbrothers.com. And today's show is brought to you by Platinum Nova Cigars. Platinum Nova is a family owned and operated premium cigar company. Only the highest vintage tobacco and the most skilled hand workmanship go into the making of each Platinum Nova cigar. This results in a timeless blend of art and craftsmanship. The Nova brand and the family's work are a tribute and an honor to their grandfather to always remember him and his infinite passion for the finest cigars. Their love for cigars started with their grandfather, a dedicated master blender and entrepreneur in the cigar industry. So the next time you're looking for that exquisite cigar experience, pick up a Platinum Nova. You can check them out at Platinum Nova Cigars, www.novacigar.com, and on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter channels. This episode of Taking It to the Nub is sponsored by the Box Press Cigar app, the ultimate cigar smoking experience. With Box Pressed, you can easily catalog cigars with your own virtual humidor. Quickly rate and record notes for any cigar using the Smoke Session feature. Receive intelligent cigar recommendations based on your personal taste profile and access exclusive discounts from top cigar brands. You can even shop your favorite cigars directly in the app, then automatically sync the order to your virtual humidor, plus so much more. Download BoxPress today by typing bxpr.sd/install into any web browser and discover the world of cigars like never before. That's bxpr.sd/install. And today's show is brought to you by All Saints Cigars, a company founded in 2019 and headed up by industry veteran Mickey Pegg and his two friends, Martin Corboy, a successful restaurateur, and Frank Leo, an Air Force Academy graduate military veteran. As Mickey explains it, they were all sitting down, talking and smoking cigars, and finally they decided that they would do this thing together. It was time. Mickey said, I decided if I'm going to work hard at it, it should be something I love. Besides, a tough day with a cigar is better than a great day doing anything else. Soon after, they began the process of launching All Saints Cigars, jokingly referring to themselves as the Holy Trinity, St. Michael, St. Martin, and St. Francis. They chose for their logo the cross of St. James, the patron saint of Nicaragua, the country where their cigars would be produced. You can check out All Saints Cigars at www.allsaintscigars.com.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
All right. Use the humidimeter?
I don't have one. I have my head down, so I didn't see the last commercial.
Religiously use
Oh,
this.
is that the one you put into the cigar and it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I also use their Ebola cutter. This is one that I cut every cigar with. I've cut over 1,000 cigars with this, and that blade inside there is still functional. So very cool device. Makes a very interesting cut. If you like a punch, but you don't want to be like being poked with stems or whatever in the fill, this makes a perfect concave cut in the cigar. So yeah,
okay, nice. I never seen that.
product.
Nice.
Yeah, I love what they do. Yeah, I mean, it's all made in America, which is amazing. Yeah,
Great.
so,
Were
awesome.
they at PCA this year?
I think they were at PCA this year. I think he did say they were. Are you going to PCA next year?
Yeah, I plan on going.
All right. Now you need to go to Johnny Smokes Uncut. You know Johnny Smokes?
I don't.
So John Reamer, Johnny Smokes Uncut. He's out in Pennsylvania land. He's got a group called Johnny Smokes Uncut, and he does a really good job. He's always out there posting stuff, and he's got a good following. But he's getting married, and he's getting married in Vegas. Okay, his fiance owns a shop in Pennsylvania, so they're going out there and they're getting married, and everybody in the industry is invited to his wedding. Okay, they're gonna do it in a chapel, and yes, I think Elvis is marrying him or something like that.
Nice.
So it's gonna be, I think, on Saturday. I think it's the Saturday night they're gonna do this. So that's gonna be a big special thing. You know, something we don't always get to do when we're at the show. You know, you've got a lot of after parties and stuff that we do, but that's special. You know, to go watch a cigar couple get married.
Congratulations to them.
So as your journey moved on, are you satisfied with your growth? Do you have strategically, where are you trying to place yourself in 2024?
Yeah, I'm satisfied with my growth, but absolutely I want to grow more. I would like to get international. I'm with the Boutique Cigar Association as well. We were planning on trying to go to Germany last year, but we couldn't pull that off. So maybe we'll try it next year. Trying to get international distribution. That's something I'm really interested in. And then more on a personal side with the business, I would like to get my business more structured like a Fortune 500 company, even though I'm nowhere near it. But I think if I had that structure, it'd give me a shot to get it that way. It's kind of just, I don't want it, whatever they do, which I think what I got now is fine, but However, whatever is the norms for the Fortune 500 companies, I would like that in my company. Whatever that takes, that's what I want to try to do too next year.
So logistically, how do you get your cigars distributed? Is it solely you visiting shops? Is you going out there with Karen and her team because she's in certain shops and introducing the brand? And lastly, you can kind of round it out with what is a Conscious Cigars event like at a shop?
Okay, so distribution wise, yeah, it's me. I visit shops. I do a lot of social media. I reach a lot of people through social media, and those that are interested, we connect. I pretty much answer all my stuff. Me and my brand ambassador, Smokey Boss Queen, Kia Watts, we kind of reply back to all that stuff. Just us. And distribution wise, I place my order. It comes into the States. I pick it up from Karen from her shop, or I go down to Miami myself and intercept it if I really need it really fast or whatever. Um, that's kind of how I roll. I don't really go with Karen. She goes her way and I go mine. So when I first started, I didn't even want nobody to know I was with Karen. I wanted to make my own way. I didn't want to, she was already established, and I want to have my own path. So I didn't even tell people my first year or so that who I was with. I just wanted to put quality product in your hand. Once I was able to do that, then I told the world who I was with, which made it, a little sweeter because now people was like, they can connect me now. Those who may have doubted or, was like, I don't know. And once the product got out and it was starting to, be in different places throughout the states, people are now more receptive. And once they know the story of who I'm with, it makes it better now. And if you ever come to a conscious event, man, it's basically, man, I come in. I'm one of these guys. I like to sit and mingle with people and talk intimately. Like I have done a microphone thing on stage. I really don't like that personally. I prefer just to sit with the people in the lounge and just talk. That's what I do. That's what I do on a normal or everyday basis. That's how I smoke. But overall, it ain't bad, man, when I'm on the microphone and all that. I'm just a little shy, so I don't really like that. But when you come to one of those events, man, you're going to talk to me. We're gonna, you can ask me whatever you want to ask. Transparent about everything, pretty much. Um, we usually have some kind of giveaways, whether it's T-shirts, hoodies, you know,
I was gonna say you
keychains.
got, the cool swag, that you're
Mhm,
giving away.
mhm,
So
mhm. We give stuff away. And like I say, man, I think most importantly, when I do those events, is me getting to know this customer base in this particular city, seeing what they like, just watching how what they're smoking, and seeing what the lounge owners, what they want to buy. If I see a, a selection of people only smoking the Lanceros, when I talk to that owner, I'm gonna let them know, hey, I seen this particular group over here, man. If they come here a lot, I suggest you get these because sometimes lounge owners they want to support you and they just buy stuff, but sometimes you have to buy strategically for your clientele. By me having a lounge, I kind of knew that, right? I know that a little bit. Like if you're gonna see them smoking X, Y, and Z, kind of want to keep extra of that on hand.
sure.
But it's okay to get extra, get something different to introduce them as well. So I don't try to. It's not a money grab for me. Like I'm not trying to make you buy 1,000 boxes. I want you to buy enough boxes that make sense for your location. That's how I kind of roll. So I love just sitting and talking to people. That's my main thing, even with the owners of lounges.
So in an average lounge that carries your line, how many facings do they normally have on the shelf in the
And
humidor?
that all varies, man. It just depends on the city and the location.
Mm.
Anywhere from all five to three to maybe one. I got one. I had one lounge. They they had everything. A lot of stuff didn't move, so they was like, well, the Lanceros kept moving. So they really just only buy Lanceros from me, and they buy a lot of them, and I'm totally fine with that because that's what's working in your particular lounge. So I don't try to push anything else on them. Like the Lanceros is fine with me, and I'm a boutique. I'm small. I don't you don't I usually do. I don't have a minimum order. If a lounge only can afford or only wants to get one box, I'm okay with that. Now, I would take 10 or 20 boxes to sales as well, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to pressure that. I'm not going to push that on them. If they say 2 or 3 boxes or 5 or 7, whatever's going to work, I'm pretty much easygoing to the point where I even, on my website, you can even go and buy one cigar. Like, I don't know many people that do that. You can literally go on my site and buy one cigar if you wanted to.
Well, Peter Ganese chimes in. He says, Kevin, cigars are popular here in Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta's a great market for me, no doubt.
I'm
What's up, Peter?
sure it is.
Yeah,
I
Atlanta's
mean,
a great market.
what do you got? 130 lounges in Atlanta itself.
Last I heard was 174. So
174.
that was last year I heard that. So it could be 180 now. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's just that's a huge amount of cigar
But
smokers.
it's enough that area is so big until it can hold it. Believe it or not, man. It sounds like a lot from when you're from a different state. But once you get to Atlanta and see how big it is, different pockets in Atlanta, it holds it. Everybody have their home lounge, and each lounge have their own support. One thing about Atlanta is one of these places too, man. It's a lot of good people I know there, man. One thing I like about them, which we do here in Tampa as well, and other places I've seen this done. Some of these lounge owners will shut their lounge down for one day or whatever and go visit another lounge. Like, I love that, and they take turns doing that. I think more lounges should do that, in particular in some cities. I
Yeah,
think
it's supporting the culture, and
right.
you get to meet patrons of another
Mm-hmm.
lounge. I mean, it could
Mm-hmm.
be. I mean, that's it's positive,
Mm-hmm.
but you're also hunting for patrons.
Well, I wouldn't even say hunting, but quite naturally, they're going to come to your spot as well. So
Right.
you may have gained somebody now, maybe once a week that you'll never had prior. Maybe 2 times a week. They're going to come when everybody shuts down. They may come again just to grab something and go, and it could work across the board that way. So everybody has an opportunity for that. I call it the conscious way. So I love it.
There you go. Now I know, like here, I have there are two, well, there are three lounges here in Melbourne, Florida. There's
Mm-hmm.
Executive, which is the kingpin in town,
Mm-hmm.
right? Been here for 16, 17 years or more. And then there is right up the road, there are two other ones called Tranquillo and Jimmie's Cigar Lounge. Jimmie's is a small, classic, old cigar shop vibe. So, but I don't get to them as often as I get to Executive. Executive is my home lounge. But I'll venture out, and I'll say, you know what, I'm going to go to Jimmie's and hang out there for a while because I got
Mm-hmm.
to, pay tribute to others. And then there's one up in Titusville called Leaf Lounge. You're in the Leaf.
Yes, right.
Those are some awesome brothers, man. I watched
Yeah,
their journey,
me too, man.
okay, how they started, and
Yeah.
it was pretty interesting how they got started.
Yes, yes.
And I was a little, shaking my head, going, "Is this gonna work?" Because it's Titusville also, but you know what? Bless them, because you know
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
they've proven that they can make it happen, and they have a cool place. It's a cool
Mm-hmm.
vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Those people come out dressed to the nines. They
They love it
party. They
there.
enjoy. It is a fun
And they're
vibe.
the only show in town.
They are. In that part, yeah, because before that, you got to go across the Merritt Island, the smoke rings,
Correct.
okay, on Merritt Island, right? So you
Is
got
is that
smoke
where my
rings.
guy is that where my guy shirtless
That's
Mike?
shirtless Mike. That's
He
shirtless
hangs
Mike.
there?
He manages it.
Oh, that's right,
He's
that's right. Okay.
Yeah,
I
he's
knew it was
one of
something.
them.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
he's another one. I followed his journey for years. I mean, he was with me on the show originally
That's
two and
right.
a half
That's
years as my
right. That's
co-host.
right. That's right.
And and then eventually he went his own way, and I helped him cut his teeth a little on this,
Good.
and he went off and did his thing, and he has proven that he's matured a lot, a
Yes.
lot. I've seen
Yes.
what his journey has, and the cigar community being what he's doing. has helped him
Mm-hmm.
grow
Mm-hmm.
as a person.
It's
Okay,
beautiful.
because he
That's beautiful.
interacts with so many different people, and he's interacting with the brand owners now. So he, he knows he knows more about the culture and more about the science and he's learned. So
Yeah, I saw him last time I saw him. I think I was in Charleston. I think he was in. I think he was in Charleston. I was somewhere. He was there. He was enjoying himself. So I like the brother. So kudos to him.
yep.
Keep growing, Mike.
How many lounges or cities are you in right now?
Man, honestly, I lost count. I was keeping up with count, but I stopped. So I'm going to say lounges. I would imagine my last count about a year ago was like in the 30s. So I'm probably going to say about 60 now lounges.
All right.
States. I'm really at least at a minimum 10 or 12, somewhere around there. I really don't know, but I stopped counting. But I've been telling myself I need to, because I have it on my website, but I stopped updating it, because I started traveling and I just didn't get to it. So I need to get to it and update that. But I
So
would
let's go.
imagine about 10 or 12 states.
Let's go take a visit to your website here. So anybody, those that are watching, if you want to check out Conscious Cigars, you want to go to consciouscigars.com right here. This is the website. Um, Single cigars,
Mm-hmm.
as Kevin said, you can buy them singly on here. So they're Lancero, $10, man. Where you getting a $10 Lancero, folks? Thank you
Correct.
very much. Toros, so you get all these singles. You get the bundled collection. So these come in bundles and boxes,
Mm-hmm.
right? In boxes. And then you've got what's fun about your site is you can come over here to the hamburger menu. And this is weird because it popped in like this. Oh, by the way, that's
That's the.
another symbol.
Oh yes,
Oh yeah,
yes, yes.
and the all-seeing eye.
Mm-hmm.
So when you blow this all up now, you begin to actually start to see a lot more of the symbolism that you took the pain to go through and get into your design, which is absolutely beautiful. I mean, you could just stare at this and just read through so much in here. You know, is this considered Egyptian culture here?
It is. I were from the conscious community. We call it Kemet, but yes, you can
Mhm.
call it Egypt.
Okay. And then this gives you so this is how you get to the menu. So normally when you click the little hamburger menu, you get this on sites, but you actually bring them right to this. Come down here. You've got how to buy the stuff. These are your events. No events found. Okay.
Yeah, that
So
need to be updated.
um,
I'm done for the
find
year.
find conscious cigars. So this is what you said you're going to be updating.
Hmm.
So you're in Louisiana, Texas, Florida, Alabama, Atlanta, Jacksonville. I've been to Dapper D's.
He has two lounges now.
Does he really?
Hmm.
Wow. Georgia, Georgia, Florida.
So DC.
Oh, you're in Tennessee. Okay.
Hmm.
Memphis. You're not
And
in
Nashville. I'm in
Nashville?
Nashville now as well.
Where are
That's not
you in
on here.
Nash? Where are you in Nashville?
It's like I think about 20 minutes outside of Nashville. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's something like Lagrange or Lagrange,
Lagrange. Yeah.
something like that.
And then you've got some videos here. Cool. So when I post produce this, you can drop the video up on here. I'll give you the YouTube link.
Okay.
So you have it there. You got a blog here, which is fun. Now who are all the people I'm looking at here? I mean, obviously we've got
So So initially with the site, it kind of got tried. I built another site. I got a flavor cigar outside of Karen's factory. Kind of got fixed up. So this was an option where you can upload yourself with a picture. So
okay.
I uploaded some people, but then some of those people you see they uploaded themselves.
Oh, I see. Okay. So this is easy. Anybody that subscribes can upload something here, and then you
Yeah,
just
that's how it used to
improve.
be. I have to put that. I don't think that function is on this one. When I created the other website, it somehow got misconstrued. But we're working on that.
And then you got a whole history section here,
Mhm.
which is chock full of information about the brand and what it's all about, and of course contact. So check it out. Check out Conscious Cigars on their website, consciouscigars.com, and learn a little more. And like I say, you can, if you want to try, you can just buy it there. Now, I imagine that the pricing you have on your site, being an old shop owner yourself, the pricing is the same somebody's paying at a shop, MSRP.
Yes, unless it depends on the city because some taxes are higher in
Right,
different
you got
cities,
taxes,
so
right?
that would
But
change
the
it.
the
It's the
MSRP
same.
is the same.
Yes,
Right.
yes. Now, what they do in their particular city or state, that's, their customers are accustomed to that.
So, I've seen companies go down the path when they first start that be able to get their cigars in the market. People are going to their site, they're able to buy them. But over time, as they grow, they start to take that down because it's about the shop.
hmm So I tell my shop owners, if you got somebody that's trying to be smart, they say, well, I can just go to the website and buy it. If they don't want to spend the money there, I remind them, you still got to pay for shipping.
Right.
Uh, got to wait. When you can just, if you don't want to spend $1 more at this particular shop, and you can get it right now versus paying a $10 shipping fee and you have to wait 2 to 3 days. That's how I tell my shops to handle that if that happens.
Of
I
course.
haven't heard much of it, but that is something I tell them just to be smart about it.
Because those UPS guys take forever to deliver cigars.
Well, it's the other packing companies. UPS is going to get it the next day if you need
Yeah.
it. That's those other guys.
There you go. It's the white and purple guys, not the brown
Yes.
guys. All right, so we kind of covered a lot about conscious cigars. Let's talk a little bit more about Kevin, the man himself. Okay. Um, what is your background besides driving for UPS? I mean, what did you?
Um,
Did you fall into this? Did you have other dreams when you were younger, what you wanted to do, and you just went a certain path?
Man, as a kid, I wanted to play. I wanted to play baseball, so I tried baseball out as a youngster. Um, wasn't too good at it. It was okay. It wasn't too good. But by the time I got to high school, uh, I was a lot better. And I remember the coach always trying to get me to come play, like to come and try out. He was because I guess someone told him about saw me play somewhere or something. But at that time, I was in the streets of Tampa. I was doing all the bad stuff out here. To be honest. So I didn't have time for sports. I wanted
Mm.
some money. So I was doing all the negative stuff. Um, so man, I graduated from high school here. I went to Brandon High School. Went to a technical school after that. It's called Irwin. I learned about web design, and that's when all this was, coming up. Internet was just starting to boom. I wanted to have my own, site, make some money off the website. I thought I'd be doing that, but I started driving at UPS at an early age, right at 21. Uh, that took me away from the schooling. Uh, you start making the money at a young age, making 60,000 bucks at 21, and you're like, okay, well, let me just do this. So I had a long lapse. All I did was work, but I always wanted to own something or do something entrepreneurial. So 2010, I remember me and my partners, one of my partners and my cousin by marriage. He passed away now, but we was in one of my friends' backyard, a guy named Tony, and Like, what can we do? What can we do to business wise, create a business? Uh, my friend Tony wanted to start his own like film production, acting, and things of that nature, and he did, and he's still doing it right now to this day. I decided to sell women hair. I understood the quickest way to get money is through women and children, right? And so I decided. I
Is
sold
somebody
women.
laughing on the background there?
No, not here.
Oh, okay,
No,
I thought I heard
this
somebody
is a
else laugh.
ghost over here or something. I did
Okay,
hear something, but so 2010, man, I went to Atlanta. It had this big show called the Warner's Brothers or something to that effect. I went to this show to learn because I know nothing about hair. I just know, women buy hair, women spend money on hair, right? Um, so I went to this place. Well, first I was here and I was trying to buy it like wholesale and sell it, but it was hard to compete because I would buy it wholesale from a company here, like a Asian company. But then if you went to the Asian stores, they were still selling that stuff less than me retail, and I was like, that don't make sense. So I
just
come up
in
with
one.
right, right. So I go to this show in Atlanta, Ronald's brother, and I'm taking these classes to understand. And then there's one particular guy was like, "Hey, I get my hair from India, da da da." So when the class was over, I went to the brother and I was like, "Hey, I want to just buy from you. I don't want all these middlemen. I got you can be my only middleman. I don't want nothing else." So I would just directly buy from him. So it touched his hand to mine, and I would sell it. After a while, so I did that from 2010 to 2015. 2015 is when I can say I really became conscious. So I stopped selling women hair. I had this hang up with women hair, like with women, particularly my sisters in the world. Like I understood by then, women like to look different, so that's why they get different hair. When I was cool with it, my only problem was if a woman didn't feel she was beautiful without the extra stuff. I felt like I was selling crack to my own people, so I stopped. I became too conscious. And 2016 is when I'm smoking cigars all this time. So, but in 2016, me and the guys at the particular lounge I was going to, we was talking about trying to open up a lounge, something different for Tampa. It wasn't a black owned lounge ever here in Tampa, cigar lounge. So we wanted to be the first to do that, and we created that. And with that, that's when I went to the cigars, and then I also learned from my hair days is like why use like I said I use that one guy, the middleman. I was like, why do that? So I go directly to Nicaragua now with Karen. I cut everybody out. Call it the Frank Lucas effect, right? It's a movie called Frank Lucas, if y'all don't know. Uh, so I took that approach, like just go straight to the source. And that's what I do now. So I cut everything out the middle. I deal directly with, like I say, with Karen and the factory. And I can get stuff out a lot quicker, more quality. It works for me that way. And that's pretty much my story, real quick.
There you go. I'm going to go back to baseball for a second.
Mhm.
The interesting news today in baseball. I've been kind of saying this for a couple of years at least that we're eventually going to have $1 billion pitcher in baseball. And Otani today just signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers for
Hmm.
700 million a year. $700 million. Now, he's not just a pitcher, I get it. He can hit home runs and he's an enigma when it comes to the world of baseball, but 700 mil. If I was to do my kids all over again, I would press them to throw baseballs, not worry about hitting, not worry, just get out there and be the most awesome pitcher in the world. You pitch once out of every 5 days, you're making hundreds of millions of dollars in the MLB. It's crazy how that money gets spent.
And it's all guaranteed, isn't it?
Yeah, and you think about it, he's going to get 700. He just set the new bar. So now
Hmm.
it's just a matter of time for the next superstar to say, but
Phenom.
wait a second, I want more than Otani, and then I want more than him. And that's
Mhm.
when you get to the $1 billion mark, and that'll happen within the next couple of years, in my prediction.
Yeah, give it
And
5. Mhm.
can't wrap my head around it. I cannot wrap my head around the fact that somebody's making $1 billion throwing a
Fair game.
baseball.
Fair game, man. Hey, I
Um,
wish I could have.
I mean, holy crap. Thank you very much. I'm lucky I was making anywhere near that,
Mhm.
So,
That would be nice.
um, what do you drive a truck, you're running your cigar business, you have these lounges all throughout the southeast primarily. Um, do you do these trips on like a weekly basis on weekends? Is that what you do your weekend time? You don't
Mhm.
work on weekends with UPS?
No, I'm off on the weekends, and my job has been pretty lenient with me over the past couple of years. So I might take off a Friday and a Monday, have a 4-day weekend, right? Take that Friday off, fly out to whatever uh, cutting light I'm doing, stay to like that Sunday and come back Monday. And I'll go back to work Tuesday. That's literally my life. I don't do it. I don't do it like every weekend. Sometimes like last for the past 2 months, last month and the month before that, yeah, I was going every weekend. But I don't normally go every weekend, so it's usually 2 times or 3 times maybe out the month. And this depends because some of these events I go to are like week events. So
Yeah.
I try to be smart about it. You know, I pick my vacations the year before, so I would pick vacations on like certain big events like PCA or whatever. Like I have that time off this year for next year. So I try to be smart and strategic about it. And I can't be everywhere, and that's it's not a downfall, but I feel like it's not me giving 110%. But when I retire, whenever I can do that, right, as you got it coming up out here, I can move. I could probably buy me an RV or something and just hit it. That's what I really want to do.
I've tossed around, I got a lot of projects in my
Mm-hmm.
head that I've tabled because of lack of time
Mm-hmm.
and in and around the cigar culture. And I have some things I want to pull off. I really want to kind of kick off a Boston Jimmie moment where I go to different lounges and we do cutting lights and maybe pairings or maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm tying different ideas together. Like one of them might be, we're gonna do a blind tasting. Okay. Maybe I have a conscious cigar without a band on it,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody gets that for the admission. And we're gonna smoke through that. And you're gonna talk. You're gonna write your notes down, and then at the end, somebody's gonna win maybe a box of conscious cigars in a
Mm-hmm.
raffle, and then maybe the shop, we work with the shop to say, okay, give like a percent discount for the next week on this particular product, and help build that up and help, bring people, enlighten them, because
Mm-hmm.
there are so many people in this culture that, and we talked about this just the other night on a show, um, and what we were talking about is how, like, the 420 Club,
Yeah.
okay, with he does a what he does is he sends out a band. They're not unbanded, but he puts an outer wrapper on it in his club, and then they smoke them, and then they reveal what it is at the end. And
Uh,
one of the reasons you do that is because mentally, right? Let's just say, for instance, okay, we're gonna throw the 800-pound gorilla in the room, right? Let's just say you hate Gurkha cigars, okay? Love them or like them, doesn't matter. But you do one of these things where you feature a Gurkha cigar, nobody knows it's a Gurkha cigar, and they start smoking and like, wow, I really like this. And at the end, it's like, it's
this is
Gurkha.
what I got.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Wow, this is a really nice cigar, right? Or I never heard of this company called Conscious. Wow, this is a really nice cigar. I would buy this cigar. So putting myself on the road, going around and doing that in my retirement days would
That would
be
be
like a
wonderful.
kind of a surrogate rep, but for
Yeah.
everybody, not a broker, not a,
You're almost like a facilitator.
yeah, right. Just,
Yeah.
help people understand more, and teach them about flavor notes and teach them
Hmm.
about some pairings. Maybe we pair, we work with the lounge, and if they have like a full whiskey bar, maybe the admission gets you like a flight of maybe 4 whiskeys
Hmm.
to pair with that. Okay. And that would be a nice model for building something over time to go
You would just
around.
need a few sponsorships. Yeah, that could work, Jimmie.
So that's something I'm working on. And then I got some other things I've been toying around with. You'll see some more coming out. Hopefully a PCA. I'm going to have a prototype of something that
Okay.
can't talk about it right now,
Okay.
but
Okay.
if
Okay.
it works, I think we do a flip on this whole talk show circuit,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I'm going to change it up a little where it's going to have some uniqueness to it that are going to bring people in and want to be part of it. So we'll see how that works. I got a lot of time on my hands. I could do absolutely nothing and just relax, or I could just keep
You're
doing
not
it and
you're
just
not gonna do that though. You're gonna
I
do
don't
something.
I don't stop.
Yeah,
You
you're
know?
gonna do something, bro.
So what's your music genre? What are you into?
Um, I'm old school, man. I like old school 70s R&B. I'm an old guy. I'm old soul. So, all R&B and blues, the disco era type stuff, Some 80s. I like some 80s, early 80s. So
Nice.
if you get in my vehicle, man, it's old music.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
when I have my lounge, so I have partners, and depending on who's working that particular night, you get a different type of music. One of my partners was like really eclectic, so you could hear jazz, things of that nature. My other partner was like he's Haitian and Jamaican, so you got a lot of that music. And then coming to my night is old music, and the ladies would be like, "Kevin, cut that old shit off. we want we want some twerking music. I ain't playing that." So I'm old school. I like all old school music, man, all day
Good, good.
long.
Now, when you go back, you think about, like you're saying, the old school rhythm and blues, things like that. I put out a little I've been playing with this little trivia question stuff I've been doing. So recently, I had this thing on my site called Stogie Words, where I was creating word puzzles,
Hmm.
without the hints, okay, without the names, right? So you got to look in this matrix of letters and find like 15 cigar related terms, and I've got like
Yeah,
thousands of these terms. So I
yeah.
ran it for the whole month of November, and we're probably going to do a show in the end of this month, where we're going to bring the people that were involved in playing it and get some feedback on it, concepts, and maybe play a little game. But I turned that around. I started taking and posting little questions out during the day,
Hmm.
just to see where people's heads are at. So I put one out, see if you get it. All
Hmm.
right. The question was, the statement was, he doesn't sing the payback, but this man of the same name makes awesome cigars.
Oh, that's easy. That's is that Matt Booth?
See, you got trick fucked.
Who made the
so,
payback?
so hold on a second. Hold now. Let me restate the statement. He doesn't sing the payback, but this man of the same name makes awesome cigars.
I'm gonna say James Brown then. I don't
There
know.
you go. Boom. Because James Brown's song The Payback, right?
Correct.
But it tricked a lot of people. It was a fun question because a lot of people said Boofy, Matt Booth, because of The Payback. And I'm like going, That's not the question.
I thought when it sounded like in the way you put it, like it had to be somebody in the cigar industry. That's why I went there. James Brown's the first. We say payback. First thing in my mind is James Brown.
Yeah.
But like, who in the cigar industry has a payback? You know,
But
that's
he
how.
doesn't sing the payback, but the man of the same name, and that's
I,
the trick, right? The
okay,
same name is
I'll follow
James
you now.
Brown. So James Brown, the singer, and James Brown from the cigar world.
I say I don't know James Brown of the cigar world though. I don't.
You don't know James Brown. You don't
Uh,
know. You don't know
I don't know
his
him.
craft down in Nicaragua. You need to go visit James Brown, man.
I don't. I never heard of him. No, no, no.
Oh
Okay,
wow,
okay.
wow, wow, wow. He owns Black Label Company.
Trading,
Huh?
Black Label Trading.
Yep.
I've heard of that. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay,
So
okay.
that's James Brown's company. He's got his own
Uh,
factory down in Nicaragua.
okay,
All right.
okay,
He also makes all the cigars for Sin Coburn, okay, for the Dissident line.
okay.
All right. But yeah, so
Learn
so again,
something new.
it's how much do you know about the cigar industry? And that's what these questions are trying to ask. How deep do you really understand the
Oh,
industry, and
yeah.
what can you learn? So I throw these questions out once in a while, and
That's a
it's
nice
fun.
one.
It's fun to see the responses that people make. Like I'll give you another one. Put it out the other day, and being in the blending, being in the factory, understanding about leaf. See if you know this.
Hmm.
Okay, this cigar leaf varietal makes up most of the saco part of the plant.
I don't know.
Ah, right. Tough question. Centro Lejero, not to be confused with the Lejero part of the plant.
Correct.
Seco part has a number of different
Yeah,
varietals
yeah.
in that, which is the bulk of the plant that you're going to use for cigars. But the bulk of that leaf that you use is Centro Lajero.
I was thinking in my head the third leaf, but I didn't know how to answer that question. You stumped me on that one, bro.
So pay attention. You might.
You got to know
I,
it.
I'm. I am trying my best to impart my knowledge. Okay, I've been doing Stogie Press for 10 years, but I've been smoking cigars since 1977, 78. All right,
Wow.
and I've had everything from the shit to the best. All right, across the whole world.
Whole
Right.
spectrum.
And I can tell you, there is so much to learn. You learn every day. And as I'm doing this, I'm learning myself because I'm researching and finding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I research terms. I go through all my stuff. I go through other sites, and I'm picking up all the terms and building this out. So like trying to put these little questions out, see how people react and how their knowledge grows. So hopefully it'll be fun as we go on.
It's great because you get to learn something at the same time, you know. So it works.
I've always tried to build my platform around knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I ask you about the simple thing of the difference between the factories
Mm-hmm.
in Cuba and the New World, and there should always be some knowledge nuggets in any show. It shouldn't just be about the cigar. It should be things that we can impart on the community so
Mm-hmm.
everybody gets more educated, because an
Mm-hmm.
educated consumer is a better consumer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No
So
doubt. No doubt. I agree.
what poker are you using? Who makes that
Oh,
one? Look at that. Nice.
it's a mask. It's like an African mask.
Okay. Who makes that one?
A young lady's go to my when I have my lounge, by the name of Janella. She makes all kind of stuff just for fun, and she made this for me. Because I want, like most guys, I want a poker, but I don't want no damn rhinestones. I don't, make it tough, and she created this.
There you go. There you go. That's Women cigar smokers are a unique breed.
Oh, no doubt.
They tend to have, well, we might have, one lighter that we use all the time, and we have one
Hmm.
cutter that we use all the time. They're gonna have cutters and lighters that match outfits and this and that. It's like a
Very
fashion
detailed.
statement,
Very detailed. They're
They've
more
got
detailed.
all kinds of different things that they have. They have different carrying cases depending upon, like a purse, right? This
Hmm.
one's got this
Hmm.
color, goes with this clothing. This one goes
Hmm.
with that clothing. This one doesn't work with that. You know, we're
Accessories is a big part of the cigar community now. Like there's a lot of businesses and there's room for all of them because everybody brings something different. Like you just, I know people that make cigar purses, uh,
oh yeah.
customized cups, you name it. It's
Michael Knoll Leatherworks, one of my
correct.
favorite people in this industry.
Mhm.
And his game has continued to advance. I've watched his journey, and he's getting better and better leather. That you see some of his products now. Some of them were a little too stiff, I felt, the leather, but now there's more suppleness to it. It's
Mhm.
like, wow, these are some really nice pieces.
Just like anything, man, you keep growing, you get more money, you can invest in better product, and you just learn by experience too, right? Like he may have felt that too eventually. Let me switch up a little bit.
Yeah,
Just like
and you
anything
get
else.
and you get the feedback. It's
Correct,
not
and
just
this is correct, correct.
listen
And
listen to your consumer.
feedback is very some people can't take the criticism, give it here. When I first did the first two cigars, man, when I first got my bundles over here, I passed them out to everybody. Any and everybody who would smoke it. You tell me what you think. Now that type of stuff I would write down.
All right.
And it's very important to me when you do that. It's very important. I met Dr. Oscar that way, GTO Cigars. I thought about him earlier. He
Oscar.
said something about accordion. I don't think it's a secret, but I know he rolls his
He
tobacco.
has an accordion
It's
bunching,
accordion
right?
style. Yeah, I don't think I'm breaking news here, but he does accordion style, and I love the way his cigars draws.
Oh yeah, no, he has produced a great craft.
He's
Um,
wonderful.
one of those best in the boutique world, and
Hmm.
he's got his own factory and he's doing his
Hmm.
own thing, and he's got fields, and I mean
He
his
does it,
journey,
man.
another great journey to watch as he's grown over time.
I gave him a cigar, man. I said, well, I had somebody introduced me to him when I was in Atlanta one time, and I was like, "Hey, nice to meet you, man. Try this, please." I just met him. I'm pushing a cigar in his face. Hey, try. Yeah, he tried it. He gave me his opinion on it. With some pointers, and I really appreciate him. And since then, man, he's like, I think I was the first when I had my lounge here. I believe he got to correct that. I'm not sure, but I believe we're the first ones to bring him to the Tampa market. And since then, man, Oscar, myself, and Drunk Chicken Cigars, we do events together. We did an event in Vegas together. We did an event in Atlanta together. It's to show, we're trying to show the community that we work together, right? There's nothing crazy here, right? We work together and we don't mind helping the other one. So we throw events together, me, Oscar, and Desiree, Drunk Chicken Cigars and GTO Cigars.
That's one of the beautiful things about the industry, okay, where we actually do help each other.
Hmm.
Because in the end, it's about selling leaf, right?
No doubt.
You're supporting the farmers around the world that grow this product.
Hmm.
You're supporting the box guys that are making boxes, and it's all about getting that out there and supporting it. And the more that that happens, and the more consumers that are appreciating the culture, the better it is in the whole for the community.
Everybody.
Because let's be real, even Steve Saka probably has said it too. I think is a quote where not every cigar is for everybody. Okay.
Hmm.
He has cigars that people, that he'll say that some people just don't like, but he loves. Okay.
Hmm.
And not everybody's cigar is going to be for everybody, but there's a cigar for everybody.
Somebody, correct. Absolutely.
Right.
And that's one thing we say, man. If you come to my booth and if I don't have what you're looking for, hey, uh, go to Oscar's booth. He may have that. Or go to Desiree. She has this one. We just it's what we do. It's good to show unity amongst this community. And once again, like I said, it's one of those things I call the conscious way, man. I don't like just to talk about it. We have to really act on it and do it. And I like the show. I just do what I do. I don't try not to talk too much, but I just do the work and let it be seen that way.
Hey, one last question that came to my mind. You talk
Mhm.
about the community. Did you go to the Heritage Festival this year?
I did not.
Okay. Yeah, I
Uh,
didn't make it to it either. I had,
Man,
commitments.
it was too different, man. It didn't make business sense to me, to be honest. They changed the location, smaller spot, pricing went up times 10,
Pricing went up,
way up. So,
and general admission didn't get in until 3 o'clock,
correct. It was
right?
too different, man.
Where before the it was an open air market. You
Hmm.
just walked the
Hmm.
streets. People came with their dogs and
It
whatever.
was
And
a great business model prior. This year, it just didn't make business sense for me to do it, man. I didn't want
mm,
to, vending fee was just ridiculous, bro. I
really,
don't price
yeah.
me out. I couldn't. It didn't make sense. So, and I don't want to talk bad about them or nothing, but it just sometimes in business, if there's a model, just stick with that model and if it's working. I look at Twitter the same way. Now it's X. Like it was
X
already,
formerly, and I hate the
yeah,
X
yeah,
formerly
yeah.
known as. What are
It
you
was
trying to be, Prince?
it was already good.
Rip that
Sometimes just
off.
let it be, man. I don't know the term. I asked people about it, of course, what, and I haven't got too many good reviews on it. I didn't hear it was all bad though. I heard it was okay, but nothing
And
like
I
it
saw the
used to be.
photos. I
It was okay.
saw the some of the coverage of it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens next year.
I
You
hope they
know,
go back, man. I really do because the old business model was wonderful. Like
oh, it was
I loved it.
terrific. It was one of
Yeah,
the
I loved
best
it.
events. One of the best events to go to.
Yeah,
Just to walk around in
yeah,
open air,
yeah.
walking around the streets. You
Hmm.
take a little break. You walk down Seventh Avenue, hit
Hmm.
a restaurant, come back,
Plenty
continue.
food. Hmm.
So yeah,
I love it, man. I really wish they go back. If they hear this or see this from Conscious Cigars to you guys, man, if you can take it back to your old model, I would love to
right.
be a part of it.
All right. Well, we're well beyond our hour plus.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the last word.
All right. So next year, man, just look out for us at these events, man. I'll be in Houston in March doing the Puff and Duchess. It's a woman inspired event ran by a lady named Felicia. Felicia, she does a great thing. It's women highlighting women in the industry. I did her inaugural one last year, and I'll be doing this one this year as well. It's a wonderful event. So if any ladies that's in the industry, if you want to get your story out, reach out to Felicia Williams or reach out to me, and I can patch that together for you guys. It's called Puff and Duchess,
Mm.
and I'll be there in March, right before PCA. And I'm also looking to do. I'm gonna start doing sample packs next year. I'm gonna try my best to do sample packs, so you'll be able to go online and get sample packs. They come in a humidified bag. Everything's going to be fresh for you. Sometimes the post office take too long, but your cigars will still be fresh. So look forward. That's one of my main things I want to do next year, and also work on some stuff. I'm working on some new stuff next year as well. When I get over to Nicaragua in probably January.
Very good. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure
This is
talking to
mine,
you.
Jimmy. My pleasure.
We've covered the whole line and then some, which is always good, always entertaining. I hope for the folks that are watching, and I want to thank everybody out there that's been watching. Don't forget, go to consciouscigars.com, check them out. If you're in a lounge and you want to try something new and you haven't tried it, try out Conscious Cigars. You'll see some of the reviews I have up. I do have to put up another one. I am going to be reviewing this, um, and we'll keep in touch for sure. I'll see you at PCA,
Yes.
and
Thank you again, Jimmy. I appreciate
that's
you.
our show. Thank
Yes,
you,
man.
thank you very
Peace,
much,
guys.
everybody, and we'll talk to you all later.